Welcome back to the deep dive. We are jumping into a deep analysis of something we all do, hopefully, twice a day, every single day,
We hope.
taking care of our teeth. But here's the genuine shocker from the source material we poured over. Most people, even the most, diligent brushers among us, are making 5 critical silent mistakes.
That's right.
Mistakes that are actively eroding their enamel, damaging their gums, and just throwing their mouth's entire ecosystem into chaos. Okay, let's unpack this.
That's exactly it. We looked at a whole stack of sources focused on modern oral care. And not just the mechanics of brushing. We're talking the chemistry, the biology of the oral microbiome.
Right.
And this is that, incredibly complex community of trillions of bacteria, fungi, viruses,
Yeah.
all living in your mouth. And it ultimately dictates whether you have chronic issues or just, natural health.
So our mission today is to give you a shortcut to being well-informed. We're going to expose the top 5 universal oral care blunders that are just undermining the health of that microbiome. And if you can fix these habits, you're not just treating symptoms like bad breath or sensitivity, you're actually restoring your mouth's natural ability to protect itself.
And that's the crucial context. These 5 common mistakes, which, by the way, often feel like they're helping, they disrupt the mouth's natural protective balance.
Right.
And that allows pathogenic bacteria to thrive. The solution, according to this research, it isn't just about changing the habit. It's about actively supporting that internal ecosystem to recover.
Okay.
The sources really emphasize the critical role of targeted beneficial bacteria or oral probiotic support in rebalancing that whole protective microenvironment.
Let's jump right into the first major mistake. It's the ultimate counterintuitive paradox. I mean, this is where we think we are helping, but we are actually causing an injury.
Yes.
We're talking about mistake number 1, the overbrushing paradox. And it's fueled entirely by that harder equals cleaner mindset.
It's so ingrained in us, isn't it? We scrub aggressively, thinking that if we apply enough force, we're ensuring sterilization, plaque removal.
Yeah, you really want to get in there.
But the deep dive into the physical mechanics proves this is actually a devastating form of unnecessary abrasion.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, especially when we talk about the materials involved. Enamel is the hardest substance in the human body. It's about a 5 on the Mohs hardness scale.
It's incredibly tough.
But the nylon bristles on a medium or even a hard toothbrush, especially when you apply significant force, are a highly effective abrasive. You are literally sanding down your enamel layer by layer.
And the damage isn't just cosmetic. As you wear down the enamel, you eventually expose the underlying dentin, which is, it's yellower, softer, and highly porous.
And that's where the sensitivity comes from.
That is when sensitivity skyrockets, because dentin has direct pathways to the nerve. And what's more, that aggressive scrubbing irritates and pushes back the gums.
Gum recession.
That's gum recession. And it exposes even more of that sensitive root surface to bacteria and decay. You are literally scrubbing away your natural defense architecture.
So the simple correction, and honestly this feels wrong the first few times you do it, is switching to a genuinely soft bristle brush. Using gentle circular motions, almost like a massage. You have to let the toothpaste and the bristles do the work, not your arm strength.
Exactly, and the sources are very firm on this. Replace that brush every 3 months. Worn bristles become frayed, they get sharp, and they're even more abrasive.
But, okay, connecting this back to the oral ecosystem, why does this physical trauma matter so much biologically?
That's a great question.
I mean, the mouth heals itself, right? If I stop scraping away, won't the gums naturally recover?
Well, they will try, but the damage creates an opportunity. Overbrushing creates these microscopic tears and irritation in the gum tissue.
Okay.
This disrupts the existing oral microbiome, and it creates an unbalanced environment that is just perfect for opportunistic, harmful bacteria, the pathogens that cause inflammation, to colonize those irritated areas. It's an open invitation.
So you're creating a wound and inviting the worst guests in?
Precisely. And this is why supportive measures, like promoting beneficial bacteria through nutritional support, become so necessary. They help restore the balance and soothe that irritated tissue, creating a stable, calm environment while the physical tissues recover.
That distinction is key. You're correcting the physical trauma while proactively repairing the ecological damage that the trauma caused.
Yes.
Okay, let's leave the physical act of brushing and transition into the chemical warfare we wage in our mouths. This leads us right to mistakes 2 and 3. And both are heavily linked to, the shame factor, chronic bad breath.
And most people try to address that by masking it, but the root cause is biological waste, which brings us to mistake number 2. Skipping tongue cleaning, or, as we're calling it, ignoring the odor factory.
We spend all this time focused on the teeth, right? But your tongue is essentially a shag carpet. It's full of crevices and papillae and folds.
That's a great analogy.
It harbors far more bacteria than people realize, especially those anaerobic bacteria that hate oxygen. And those bacteria just gorge themselves on food debris and dead cells.
And the result of that feasting is a thick biofilm layer, and the byproduct is a chemical called volatile sulfur compounds, or VSCs.
And VSCs, those are the primary culprits behind chronic halitosis, right?
They are. They're sulfur gases, hydrogen sulfide, methyl mercaptan. They smell like rotten eggs or rotting cabbage. If you just brush your teeth and skip the tongue, you are leaving the engine of the odor factory running at full tilt.
So the sources outline a simple, non-probiotic fix for this. Just daily use of a tongue scraper. Move it gently from the back to the front. Follow up with a rinse. And this mechanical action is absolutely essential for removing that biofilm and, the bulk of the VSC producers.
But here's the nuance. Scraping only removes the surface layer. Those bacteria, they live deep within the tongue's texture. So if you want truly long-lasting, fresh breath, not just temporary relief, you need biological competition. The reason probiotic support is so effective here is that the beneficial strains actively colonize the tongue and the mouth, and they crowd out those odor-causing microbes.
So they're competing for the same real estate.
They compete for resources, for space, leading to a long-term biological solution rather than just a mechanical scrape.
That makes perfect sense. We're fighting odor with ecology, not just friction. And that brings us perfectly to mistake number 3, relying too heavily on harsh mouthwash.
The sterilizing trap.
The sterilizing trap. Because people use it specifically to kill that breath odor.
This is perhaps the most misguided habit in modern oral hygiene. Most common store-bought mouthwashes, they use alcohol or extremely aggressive chemical antibacterial agents like chlorhexidine. They're designed for total annihilation.
And the problem is they're completely non-selective. They kill everything.
Everything.
The protective, beneficial strains that control your pH and the bad inflammatory strains. When you nuke the environment, you create a vacuum.
And the most aggressive, fastest reproducing strains, which are usually the harmful ones, are the first to colonize that empty space. And this often leads to a rapid, intensified comeback of bad breath. Sometimes it's worse than before.
Wow. And the consequences just stack up from there, I imagine.
They do. The alcohol content also severely dries out the mouth, compromising saliva production. And saliva is our natural buffer. It's our defense mechanism. It's full of minerals and enzymes.
So if you compromise saliva, you're in big trouble.
You significantly increase your cavity risk and mouth irritation. We've been conditioned to think that burning sensation means it's working, but it's often just pure chemical trauma.
So if the sources tell us to stop sterilizing, what's the alternative?
The fix is simple. Mechanical cleaning is paramount brushing, flossing, scraping. If you must use a rinse, switch to a mild, alcohol-free mouthwash and use it sparingly.
Okay, but wait. If I stop using the sterilizing mouthwash, won't my body eventually rebalance the bacteria naturally? I mean, isn't a supplement overkill if I just fix the bad habit?
That is a very, very important question. And the answer is complexity. Today, because of our modern diets, stress, previous chemical use, the beneficial strains are often severely depleted.
Right.
Simply stopping the damage might not be enough to allow the healthy strains to reestablish dominance quickly enough to fight off aggressive pathogens.
I see.
What's fascinating here is that the sources repeatedly demonstrate that supplementary oral probiotic support, and they reference products like Adem Naturals ProvaDent, is designed to specifically add back the beneficial strains that the harsh mouthwash strips away.
So you're essentially reseeding the good bacteria.
Precisely. You're delivering strains that promote healthy saliva flow, restore the pH balance, and provide natural, long-term odor neutralization. It's actively strengthening the mouth's internal defenses rather than relying on these chemical attacks.
Which is a fundamentally flawed approach to long-term health.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pivot now from bacteria and breath to the silent dangers that affect your structural foundation. We're talking about 2 mistakes that cause long-term chronic damage to the gums and the underlying bone.
Mistake number 4, ignoring gum health. We are obsessed with white, straight teeth, but the gums, the periodontal tissue, they are the foundation holding everything in place.
And they're too often just treated as an afterthought. And gum disease or gingivitis, it starts so quietly. Occasional bleeding when you floss, mild swelling, maybe a little tenderness. We tend to just shrug it off.
But the sources explain that this low-grade persistent inflammation is a sign that the bacterial balance is critically wrong.
And if that low-grade inflammation persists, it escalates.
It escalates into periodontitis. This is where the immune system, constantly fighting the harmful bacteria in the gum line, starts breaking down the bone and the connective tissue that hold the teeth in their sockets.
That sounds serious.
It is. This leads to gum recession, the formation of deep pockets where aggressive bacteria thrive, and eventually, tooth mobility and potential loss.
This is a much more serious outcome than just bad breath. So what's the necessary foundational fix here?
The foundation remains the same. Gentle brushing, paying attention to the gum line, daily flossing to disrupt the plaque that hides between teeth and below the gum line,
And regular cleanings.
and, crucially, regular professional dental cleanings to remove that calcified plaque, or calculus.
So how does supporting the internal environment help save that foundation?
Probiotic support works on the source of the problem, which is inflammation. The harmful bacterial strains linked to periodontitis are reduced by the presence of beneficial strains.
Okay.
The goal is to create a hostile environment for the bad actors. By managing the oral flora, you reduce the inflammatory load on the gums, leading to less tissue irritation, reduced bleeding, and overall stronger gum resilience.
So it's oral care working from the inside out to reinforce that foundational tissue.
Exactly, reinforcing it against chronic attack.
All right, now for our fifth and final mistake, which is so insidious because it often feels necessary or, harmless. Snacking too often. This leads to the constant acid attack cycle.
This is the invisible enemy, especially in modern society where people graze, constantly sip on lattes, or enjoy energy drinks.
It's not necessarily the volume of sugar you consume, but the frequency of consumption that does the most damage.
That's the key point, frequency.
Can you walk us through the chemistry? Why is frequency the main enemy?
Every single time you introduce food or a sweetened beverage, even the health bar or dried fruit, the bacteria in your mouth immediately metabolize the carbohydrates and produce acid as a waste product.
Right.
Your mouth's pH drops dramatically. The critical pH level for enamel demineralization is 5.5. Below this point, acid actively starts dissolving the minerals right out of your teeth.
Okay, so if I eat 3 large meals, my teeth are under acid attack for maybe, 90 minutes total? But if I snack every hour...
You're spending all day below that critical pH threshold.
Wow.
Exactly. You are subjecting your teeth to perpetual acid exposure. This causes rapid enamel erosion, deep sensitivity, and creates a perfect breeding ground for acid-loving bacteria, specifically Streptococcus mutans, which are the primary cavity creators.
And you simply don't give your saliva enough time to neutralize the acid and buffer the environment.
No chance.
So the non-probiotic fix is purely behavioral then?
It is. Limit snacking between meals, aim for neutral drinks like plain water, and after you finish eating, rinse immediately with water to help quickly raise that pH level back to neutral.
And this is where the biological support comes in as a defense.
It's essential. Probiotic intervention helps maintain a consistently healthier pH level because the beneficial bacteria actively produce compounds that neutralize acidity. They buffer the mouth against these constant drops below 5.5.
So for people who struggle to break that snacking habit...
For those who struggle to completely break the habit, this pH maintenance support is a vital defense mechanism for protecting the enamel.
So what does this all mean? We've covered 5 surprisingly common errors. Scraping away our defenses with overbrushing, leaving the odor engine running by skipping the tongue, sterilizing our defenses with harsh mouthwash,
Ignoring the foundation.
ignoring the foundational tissue, which leads to bone loss, and finally the constant acid bath from snacking.
It means that if your oral hygiene plan relies only on mechanical friction and chemical sterilization, it's fundamentally outdated. It's insufficient for modern life.
It's not enough.
It's not. Our highly processed acidic diets, combined with stress and the overuse of aggressive cleaning products, make it far too easy for the bacterial balance to tip into chronic disease, predisposing us to all these recurring issues.
And that's why modern support is a necessary addition. The science revealed in these sources explains that true oral health requires flora management.
Hmm.
This specific mechanism of Adem Naturals ProvaDent works by actively restoring a population of healthy, beneficial oral bacteria.
Yes, it reduces the inflammation-linked and odor-causing microbes. It actively supports gum tissue. It promotes that balanced pH and saliva flow we discussed.
And it enhances the effects of the good work you're already doing with brushing and flossing.
Exactly. It's turning your mouth into a resilient, self-regulating ecosystem. It's equipping your body with the biological defenses it needs to handle the imperfections of modern life.
By strategically fixing these 5 common habits and supporting the oral microbiome with targeted nutritional support, you are completely transforming your mouth from a fragile structure constantly under attack.
Into a strong, resilient foundation for lifelong health.
It really is a full shift in perspective. As we wrap up this deep dive, here's a final provocative thought for you to consider. The knowledge we've discussed today highlights that the traditional focus on sterilizing the mouth might be fundamentally flawed.
Hmm.
Instead of treating the mouth as a sterile environment that needs constant chemical annihilation, the future of health lies in cultivating and managing a beneficial ecosystem. So if this is the truth for our oral health, that we must focus on balance over total eradication, what other areas of the human body, perhaps the skin or the internal organs, might we be damaging by constantly trying to eradicate all bacteria rather than focusing on cultivating a healthy protective balance? Something to chew on until next time.